If people really knew the truth, the war would be stopped tomorrow. But of course they don't know and can't know. These are the words of Prime Minister David Lloyd George talking about the horror of the trenches of the Great War. The War You Don't See is a thought-provoking 2010 documentary on war propaganda, how governments manipulate facts and how a large part of the mainstream media let them get away with it. The topics covered are the Great War, the Vietnam War, post-2001 Afghanistan, post-2003 Iraq, and Palestine. It's a historical account of public relations, embedded journalism, lies and cover-ups, but also of courageous journalists who disclose the truth. It's a real dive into the misleading practices of the media that often end up presenting material that's accepted at face value simply because it was presented on TV. It encourages you to think and go below the surface of what we see. In the parts that focus on the war in Iraq, it did a very good job of highlighting the key difference between independent journalists and those from the networks who were able to embed with the military. What I found really interesting were the interviews with former heads at some British news companies who were still defending their lack of digging into the claims of Blair and Bush. The host holds their feet to the fire, and there are some hot exchanges. The net result of the documentary is to serve as a timely warning that the news media is often more involved in being a PR machine instead of being an objective reporter of the truth. And don't forget, this was made in 2010. 10 years later in 2020, and things haven't got any better. In fact, they're much worse. All the news seems to do now is split everyone into deeply divided factions. A word of warning here, there are some graphic photos and video clips in this, so be prepared for some confronting images. Overall, this was a fascinating look behind the curtain, and while it's kind of doom and gloom and doesn't really offer any solutions, it best serves as a wake-up call and a reminder to everyone to not believe everything you hear from the media.